Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. My name is Daniel Livingstone and today we are going to be editing some social media content inside of Premiere Pro. I came up with an idea for a couple of reels that I wanted to create like a couple of days ago, and then finally got around to filming it yesterday. So it was super easy. Just took a tripod and my camera out to the park, mic'd myself up, and then rambled for a while. But going into it, I had this idea where I was inspired from another creator's reel promoting their music where they're doing a lot of jump cuts. So I wanted to use really heavy jump cuts as a visual hook to my video, and then also just continue with that theme of jump cuts throughout the video. So I'm moving around the screen, but the talking points or like the dialogue is kind of like on a continuous, it's like a seamless continuous, it's not a loop, but like, you know what I mean, like it's continuous dialogue that is seamlessly transitioning despite the jump cuts. So I'm going to turn this down, and there will not be background music on this one just because there is video editing with dialogue, so I need to be able to hear that, and the stream needs to be able to hear that. And speaking of hearing that, I need to make sure that my audio is working correctly. Okay, cool. We're good. We can hear the bus outside, so I have to close this window. That should be better. We're back. Fix this. There we go. Okay, cool. So I already did a little bit of like preemptive editing here, and I can try to make this as big as possible. So you can see this. Maybe I even like switch this panel over here and then bring all these. Yeah, maybe I keep this over here. And then these can all go in the middle. Yeah, and then this just all gets dropped in here. Yeah, that could work. Alright, this is my new vertical layout. So yeah, this is as big as possible, and I can actually make this a little wider. Bring this out as well. Maybe this even comes over here. Yeah. That's kind of clean. I don't hate it. Anyway, yeah, so to break down what we have going on here, I recorded basically me in different positions. And I want to find, and I use the plugin for Artlist. Please don't make me log in. We should be good. Yeah. For sound effects here, I want to do not a wheel. I had it figured out this morning. It was like a continuous clicking sound. Oh, like a spinning sound. Or no, winding sound, that's what it was. Yeah, something really analog sounding and clicky. But like continuous. A winding ramp. I like that. We could do that one. So I think I just drag. Oh, I have to sign in 1 second. I hate when it does this to me. Just gotta sign in real quick. But yeah, I'm excited to get these videos out, especially because I've been kind of dry with content lately. I've been mostly just doing like portfolio shares and like stills shares. Alright, where'd that go? Yeah, that's what we want. Okay, close this, go back to our screen. Alright, so we have our winding clock sound. And I wonder if I want to like ramp the speed. Is there... Can you speed ramp audio? Audio in Premiere Pro. Let's see if
So
this
it's
is
no
accurate.
secret that speed ramping audio in Premiere Pro is a pain to say the least. But here's a workaround that actually makes sense. First, I'll make sure to unlink the video from the audio. Then I'll right-click this FX icon, go down to time remapping, and select speed. Next, I can just drag this line down to slow my footage down to around 50% speed. Now, as is the main issue with speed ramping in Premiere, you'll notice the audio doesn't slow down with our footage. But not to worry, we'll fix this in a moment. Next, we just need to grab these handles and ramp our video slow-mo. Then move our last audio section to the right and make sure it lines up with the last ramp handle here. From there, we can use our rate stretch tool to slow down the audio until it reaches the following audio clip, like so. Now, this is where the fun starts. Search for the effect pitch shifter and apply that to the slowed down audio clip. Then we can open up this individual parameters tab and create 4 keyframes for transposed audio that line up exactly with our video speed ramp handles. Set the value of the second and third keyframe to 50 to match our 50% slow-mo speed and ease the keyframes in and out. Finally, I find it helps to add a crossfade on the audio clips as well, like this. Now, if you want 10 more useful audio tricks just like this,
maybe there's a better... Like, can we do a pitch shifter effect? Keyframe it. Did we not keyframe it? Oh, that's just the bypass. We can't keyframe the actual pitch shifting, can we? I don't know what transpose audio does, but what if we made this less? No, can't edit that at all. I guess we'll just be, we'll remove all the attributes. Anyway, we have all of our, this is only gonna last 3 seconds. We can also change the speed of this to be a little slower. A little too slow. We'll do 80% speed. I'll make that 2 seconds long. And then we'll throw the pitch shifter on that after all, and then maybe pitch it up a little bit to match the sound that we had in the beginning. Too high. 2 semitones. Cool. And then we have all of our clips here, and I'm gonna make, I have to adjust each of these to be the same duration. And this also has to be a little bit shorter. Fade that out at the end. And then one, two, three, four, that long. A third of a second I think is gonna be long enough. Maybe even less, like half of a second. I mean, like 5 frames. So each of these clips needs to be 5 frames. No, even less than that. Which means this needs to be way slower. I think we do have to go back down to 50. And then we just pitch it up to fix that messed up sound. Yeah, that's better. Might even go even slower, although we may get some audio degradation. Yeah, we just need to pitch this way up. Oh, well, let me go higher than that. Do 30. Or like a game show wheel. That's not how you spell that. Wheel. Winding click. But I need it to be continuous. I like that one. Let's see if we do this one instead. Okay, this sounds promising. I'm gonna cut it off here. We'll do it in reverse. See how that sounds. Oh yeah, that ramps down in a way that I really like. So we can make this even slower. 50% speed. And then I think if we pitch it up, we have the effect we're looking for. Oh, that just sounds not great. 75 speed. And then not so much pitch shifting. Needs to be a little higher pitch than that though. And a little faster. Maybe it is just like 90. And now I need to turn off this pitch shifter because it's messing with my ears. Maybe it's a second hook too. Because each of these is going to be a clip. This is a 2-second one, so maybe we just push this up to here, spin that back. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So that's the length. It's like a minute and 20, or a second and 20 frames. So now each of these clicks is a clip. Two frames. That's all we get on these. 2 frames. So each of these is legitimately going to be 2 frames. Okay, wow. Oops. About. So 1, 2, that's 2 frames. And unfortunately I filmed 3 different versions of these, so I'm gonna have to do a bunch of this. Luckily they get a little slower. I'm gonna need to do it how many times now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So we'll just do 2 frames. 1, 2, that's 2 frames. Jump up to here. 1, 2, that's 2 frames. 1, 2, that's 2 frames. And then 1, 1, 2, that's 2 frames. Alright, so now we just collapse all of these. And then these are shot in order of position. So yeah, that's exactly the effect we're going for. I'm really happy with that. So I kind of want to randomize it to have it jump around. I have it shot in order of like here, 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 here. I'm going to switch. I'm going to be left to right, left to right. So this one comes first, this one comes second, this one comes third. Left, right, center, I'll do left, right, there we go. So this is the second row, this will be the third row, and this will be the back row. Okay. So we'll start in the front, so I'll duplicate these clips down. Grab one from here, grab one from here, grab one from here, grab this, grab that, grab that. And I'm going in kind of a random order. So I could jump, maybe backwards one, back to the left, right, middle, right. So far this is falling in line quite well. And I'm making sure these are lining up with every single click. So click. I'm going to bump this up like a frame. I don't think I actually need to do any of that. The way it's visually lining up isn't a big deal. As long as it starts lining up when it gets slower, that's going to be when it's noticeable. So this is one where it gets a little longer. I'll do a close one. And then we have these 4 shots of motion. So I'm gonna oh, this is turned off. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll shorten to that. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this one. Yeah, I think peak right in the air is cool. There we go. This one I can take out. Alright, so we have 3 shots of motion here, which is walking, walking, jumping. We'll do, yeah, right here. Not include that. Shorten that to that. Bring some other clips in from the middle. Maybe one next to it. Excuse me. And then we'll bring this one down, shorten it. Okay, another one in the back. Row. And then into me jumping. Alright, this should look pretty good. And then a click. An analog click. You know, I've been thinking a lot about the sound of a rotary phone and how I want to include it. Oh, that's like too... There we go. That's what I want. A mechanical sound. That shove. That's really the effect I'm going for. And then I'll throw a flare on top of that. So this is gonna be, I'm gonna actually name this sequence intro 3, because I think this is the third one. And then I'm gonna make a new sequence in which I drop my footage into. And we need to do a bunch of review.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense.
So that'll be in our timeline. And then, oops. And then I can bring from my intro sequence. This one's called Assisting. Let's call it timeline 3. Assisting. I'll make a new bin for all my sequences as well. I do like to keep my Premiere projects pretty, organized. And I'll make another bin for audio. I just like to keep everything where it needs to go so I can access it faster. So now my sequences, I can open up my intro 3, drag all this into my timeline, and now I have, I can delete all my source material on top of that, but I keep all of it clipped in this timeline. So now we can do this.
In my years of being a
And then we're going to do a flare, and I'm going to grab that from a very recent reel where I did the plugins one. Yeah, I'll just open up the timeline. Oh, is my face cam blocking the...
My audio.
No, not really. Okay, cool. I know I did a bunch of clickies and overlays. Yeah. So we're gonna bring this little feature into here. There we go. Make this a little taller. Grab both of those and move them over here. And then I'm just gonna hold on to this sound effect, but the analog sound effect is for the flare. So we'll just turn this off. Yeah, we'll just put that right there.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense.
Now this is quiet. We're gonna boost all this audio later.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense.
I can honestly pump that a little bit right here.
My years of being a photographer.
Just for stream to hear at least.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense.
Okay, cool. Now we just do a ton of clipping. I wonder if there's any other effects, transition effects I need to pull into this document. Ignore this one, this is not what this video is about.
This is the Nick collection.
I don't think there's any other... Oh, you know what would be kind of cool? Let me close this project. I wonder if I do the jump cuts, if I had it like... Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, so what I would do is I would clip everything together, nest it all into one item, and then I would do moving effects. Or like motion zoom, like voila. Ooh. The ideas are coming. But I'm getting way ahead of myself. I need to focus on actually clipping this out correctly.
Let me explain.
Alright, pull that in here, clip that down.
Don't really make sense. Let me explain. Let me explain. Let me explain. Sense. Let me explain. Let me explain.
Alright, we're gonna match all the audio of this, or the volume of this later.
Well, this is rough. You need to be a good assistant to get hired. You need to be a good assistant to get experience. You need to be a good assistant to get hired, but you need experience to be a good assistant. You need to be a good assistant to get hired, but you need experience to be a good assistant.
I know I did this take a bunch of times.
You need to be a good assistant to get hired. You need to be a good assistant. No. You need to be a good assistant to get hired, but you need experience to be a good assistant.
Alright, that was the take I'm using. And when it comes to my own like scripted like dialogue talking head stuff, I always do it in like fast forward, like double speed, just make it easier on myself. And then I'm looking at the audio waves here to know exactly where to cut it, just to save myself some time so I don't have to listen to it again.
You need to be a good assistant to get hired. Explain. You need to be a good assistant to get Explain. You need to be a good assistant to get hired, but you need experience to be a good assistant. The age-old employment question. Where do you get your foot in the door?
Alright, that was that take.
Foot. The age-old employment question. Where do you get your foot in the door?
Alright, there's that take. Let me keep going. Then I'm all the way back there.
People always tend to aim upward to find opportunities, but people always tend to aim upward to find the immediate. People always tend to aim upward when trying to find the immediate paid opportunities, but end up being disappointed when no one wants to take a chance on them.
Alright, that was that take.
People always tend to aim. People always tend to aim upward to find the immediate.
Alright, that was not part of the right take. This is the right take. Shorten that.
The easiest thing to do is start where you're at. Assist your peers, your friends, and your colleagues. The easiest thing is.
This took a couple
The easiest thing to do is
tries.
start where you are on the ground level. Assist for your peers, your colleagues, and your friends.
Alright, I took that take.
Colleagues, and even your friends. The easiest
Might have cut that a little early. There we go.
chance on them. The easiest thing to do is start where you're at. Assist your peers, your friends, and your colleagues.
Oh, it's actually this take instead. There we go.
The easiest thing to do is start where you are on the ground. These might not be the most glamorous gigs and opportunities, but experience is the priority, right? These might not be the most glamorous gigs or the most profitable, but experience is the priority, right?
Alright, here's the take. Drop it in. Find the audio waves. Clip to that.
Priority, right?
Yep, and then move on.
Things from just doing, and the people who are taking. You will learn things from just doing, and the people that you come up with will eventually have opportunities for you.
Alright, that's the take. Drop it in. Audio waves.
Is the priority, right? You will learn things from just doing. Experience is the priority, right? You will learn things from just doing and
Alright.
share. Oh, to share. You will learn things from just doing, and the people that you come up with will have opportunities to share. You will learn from just doing, and the people you are coming up with will eventually have opportunities to share.
Alright, that was actually the real take.
Right? You will learn things from just doing, and the people that you are coming up with will eventually have opportunities to share.
Okay, cool. So that take replaces this take. And then I'm using the I and O keys when I'm in my source monitor here to just quickly clip in and out, and then trimming it where I see visually where I see like the audio waves start and stop.
Otherwise, it's just a numbers game. Cast a wide net and hit up as many people as you can.
Oh, that was a one taker. Nice. So I'm just gonna do a broad grab. Yeah, and it's this right here. Nope, it's not that. My apologies.
Wide net and hit up as.
That's where the take is. So drop that in here. Clip it to this.
Otherwise. Have opportunities to share. Otherwise, it's just a numbers game. Cast a wide net.
All right.
It really doesn't hurt to have more people know that you are willing to help. It really doesn't hurt. It really doesn't hurt to have more people know that you're willing to help.
All right, and that's the end of the video.
You're willing to help.
Alright, cool. Now we have our timeline. So we're going to watch this through as it is.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense. Let me explain. You need to be a good assistant.
Yeah, I need to shorten the gap between this and this.
Don't really make sense. Makes sense. Let me explain. You need to be a good assistant to get hired, but you need experience to be a good assistant. The age-old employment question: where do you get your foot in the door? People always tend to aim.
I'm actually going to cut this part. Well, actually, I don't know. It seems relevant.
Employment question.
I'm just trying to figure out the cuts between each
To be a
shot
good
now.
assistant. The age experience to be a good assistant. The age-old employment question: where do you get your foot in the door? Where do you get your foot in the door? People always tend to aim upward when trying to find the immediate, paid opportunities, but end up being disappointed when no one wants to take a chance on them. The easiest thing to do is start where you are on the ground level. Assist for your peers, your colleagues, and even your friends.
Trim that up.
Even your friends. These might not be the most glamorous gigs or even the most profitable, but experience is the priority, right? Is the priority, right? You will learn from just doing, and the people that you are coming up with will eventually have opportunities to share. Otherwise, it's just a numbers game. Cast a wide net and hit up as many people as you can. It really doesn't hurt to have more people know that you're willing to help.
Alright, cool. That's pretty good. I'm gonna remove attributes on any of the audio that I've messed with so far, so that I can do a essential sound tab, pick up the volume. I'll do a little bit of an enhance, but I'm not gonna push it because I think the mic levels are pretty good, so I don't need to like recover a whole lot of information in the audio. And hopefully this will make the audio a lot clearer to stream. I'll do like a level 2 enhancement, and then I'll need to bump this up to like 8 probably.
In my years of being a photographer,
12.
there are a few things I've learned that still just don't. In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still.
15? Do I really have to pump it up that much?
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense.
Alright, 4 is getting like crunchy.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense. Let me explain. You need to be a good assistant to get hired, but you need experience to be a good assistant. The age-old employment question: where do you get your foot in the door? People always tend to aim upward when trying to find the immediate, paid opportunities, but end up being disappointed when no one wants to take a chance on them. The easiest thing to do is start where you are on the ground level. Assist for your peers, your colleagues, and even your friends. These might not be the most glamorous gigs or even the most profitable, but experience is the priority, right? You will learn from just doing, and the people that you are coming up with will eventually have opportunities to share. Otherwise, it's just a numbers game. Cast a wide net and hit up as many people as you can. It really doesn't hurt to have more people know that you're willing to help.
Let me fix this again. Alright, now these should be on point.
Ground level. Assist for your peers, your colleagues, and even your friends. These might not be the most glamorous gigs or even the most profitable, but experience is the priority, right? You will learn from just doing, and the people that you are coming up with will eventually have opportunities to share. Otherwise, it's just a numbers game. Cast a wide net and hit up as many people as you can. It really doesn't hurt to have more people know that you're willing to help.
Alright, I think this is solid. Now we need to transcribe it. Oh, did they change this? Oh yeah, they changed this window a little bit. I'll do single lines. Oh, and then style, we need a style, which I need to import from here. Nope, hold on. Captioning. Yes. There we go. I'll do 25 single, 2 seconds, style this, and then run that. And then we'll bump this up a tier because we need to do an, well, this does not belong in the footage bin, that's for sure. This goes in the audio bin. Yeah, that's the flare. We need an adjustment layer in which we are going to put it over the entire timeline and throw a LUT on it to grade this whole video. Luckily, the lighting conditions were pretty consistent throughout the entire shoot, which helps the jump cuts look seamless. Elementary color, creative, browse, video, assets, LUTs, artless, brainstorm. This looks good. I'm gonna modify this a little bit. Maybe a little less matting would be good. We'll do like 45%, which still kind of cleans up the picture a little bit, brings the skin tones out for sure. Also the warmth helps a lot too. Do like a 20 warmth. Saturation, pull some color out of this, like 115. And then adjust the contrast a tad. Maybe even vignette it a little bit. Yeah, that feels good. Midpoint in, roundness for sure, feather the hell out of it. Bring it in, just darken those edges. And then we can go back to our curves. Pick up the lights. And then even on the color curves, no, I like where this is at. I don't know, I kind of want to pump the blues.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense. Let me explain. You need to be a good assistant to get hired.
Maybe this needs to be brighter. Or instead of exposure, we can boost the shadows a little bit. Also the whites. Bring the blacks down like -2. And then pump some contrast. Yeah, I think a little bit of extra contrast is certainly gonna help this image. Yeah, I think this has been enhanced.
But you need experience to be a good assistant. The age-old employment question, where do you get your foot in the door? People always tend to aim upward when trying to find the immediate, paid opportunities.
Alright, now we're gonna fix all these captions because these are obnoxious as heck. Properties? You go in here. You go in here. Actually go here. We need to make these smaller. And then positioning needs to go at the top. Actually the middle. Come up considerably. I think that's good. And let's see how that reads.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense. Let me explain. You need to be a good assistant to get hired, but you need experience to be a good assistant. The age-old employment question.
I'm actually going to throw my overlay on this that I have in my graphics templates for my safe zones. I like to use this to see if my copy or my captions are going to be cut off by anything on the platform. So like this is as high as I can go, which means I might actually take it that high. So we'll start at the top, come down a little bit, we'll hover around here, yeah. That feels good. And then I don't think that anything's wide enough to get cut off, yeah. Okay, cool. We can hide that.
In my years of being
This feels a little too purple still, so pump some green, and I think that solves that.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really.
And then this might be cheesy, but I'm gonna push in the hue versus hue curve. I'm gonna push the purples towards the blue, so it's gonna have a little bit of a orange. And you know what? I also need to push some of these reds towards yellow. Not too much though. That's a terrible expression. Color wheels. Let's pump some warmth into there. Some coolness into the shadows, and then still preserve some of that skin tone with orange here. I think that makes our image better.
But you need experience to be a good assistant. The age-old employment question,
Yeah,
where do
that
you
looks
get your
better.
foot in the door? People always tend to aim upward when trying to find the immediate paid opportunities, but end up being disappointed when no one wants to take a chance on them. The easiest thing to do is
Alright, so now I think we can do our nesting. And I should probably do markers at all the cut points in my timeline, so when it's nested I can see where that's happening. So I'll do there, I'll do there. Oh wait, there's a keyboard shortcut for jump to next cut. Preferences, keyboard shortcuts. Can I look for one? Cut. Oh. Oh, next edit point. It's just command up and down? Yeah, cool. Yep. But I don't want to mark the footage, I just want to mark the timeline. Oh, I did not mean to go to export. M, jump to next cut. M, jump to next cut. Next cut. There we go. Now we got a flow going. Oh, is that the last cut? Yeah, okay. So all my cuts have been marked in the timeline up here with these little green tabs. And we need to nest all of these. Nest. This will go in our sequences.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense. Let me explain. You need to be a good.
Alright. Yeah, so this is where the cut is, so then I'll do a motion effect up here. We can make this small, because I need as much room over here as possible.
Let me.
Alright, so how does this work?
learned that still just don't really make sense. Let me explain.
Alright, can we make this fluid?
Let me explain. Really makes sense. Let sense. Let me
Maybe we can pull this back.
really makes sense. Let me
Yeah, I would have to complete like right before that comes
really
up.
makes sense. Let me explain. Really makes sense. Let me make sense. Let me make sense.
I need more ease out.
Really makes sense. Really makes sense.
Maybe this needs more
Don't
time.
really make sense.
Maybe this comes in too.
Don't really make sense.
No.
Don't really make sense. Don't really make sense. Let me make sense. Really makes sense. Let me explain. Really makes sense. Let me explain.
That works. And actually we can, this seems kind of annoying, we can probably mute the audio on this so you don't have to hear it every time. Alright, I'll bring these in here. I guess for now we can do music actually. Let's throw that in the background. So now we're just doing a bunch of motion effects and jumping and following me around the frame. Honestly, I might push this over a little bit more. There we go. Or this gets pushed all the way out here. Oh, we'll come over here. And then this gets pushed over here. Oh, that's the edge of the frame. Okay, cool. Then we'll lock this in here and then pull out to original. We need to make this a little tighter. I mean, the cuts are clean as hell. I'm really satisfied with this. We're 15 seconds in, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, we got a bunch of cuts to go. One of these segments is kind of long though, that's good. So we'll then pop that here, drop some more motion effects here, zoom in on this. Alright, where do we need to end up? We need to end up all the way over here, and then over a little bit. And then we'll punch these in a little harder. I need to pause this and listen to this for a second.
Get your foot in the door. People always get your foot in the door.
Alright, cool. I'm gonna save this first off, that's really important. And then watch this where I'm at right now.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense. Let me explain. You need to be a good assistant to get hired, but you need experience to be a good assistant. The age-old employment question, where do you get your foot in the door? People always tend to aim upward when trying to find the immediate, paid opportunities, but end up being disappointed when no one wants to take a chance on them. The easiest thing...
Alright, cool. This is looking good so far. Where am I on here? Lock this position in. What's the next one? Where am I? I'm all the way over here, aren't I? Yeah. And you know, normally when I do these kinds of effects, I hate doing the velocity of position mapping with the zooming because it very often goes outside of the frame because the speed of the position is moving too fast to keep up with the zoom. And you see like the black part of like outside the video frame. I don't mind it for this. I can actually tolerate it because I think the premise is already so creative that people are willing to like ignore that. That one was nice. Probably because I'm going from, yeah, that looks really good. Honestly, we can get this in. Wait, right, where's the cut? If we slow this down like super hard, like start real slow. Oh, that's cool. Hold on. Ah, I like that. If I can cheat this a little harder. Just like a lit. No, pull it back a little bit. Even more. Oh no, the opposite way. It needs to come in sooner. I think that's good enough. This is a lot more fun than I expected it to be. And I actually didn't have the idea for all this motion tracking until I started this stream. Alright, where am I? I'm over there. Back in you go. Alright, so we need to pull this back. And then this needs to like be all the way over here. No, the opposite. This doesn't start until like way over here. No, later. A little earlier? Except this needs to be more balanced out in the middle. Excuse me. Where did I put my water bottle? Over there. This needs to also happen a little faster. And sooner. Like a second sooner than that. No, second later than that. Oh yeah, that was clean. I like that one. This one shouldn't be bad either. I should do more shots where I jump across frame. I mean, I didn't record it that way, but in the future I'll try to be more left to right. Alright. Honestly, I think it's funny that I'm really small in the back, so that's just a motion change and not a zoom or a position change. And then we just delay this a little bit. Right about here. Yeah, there we go. And then the last one, we just zoom out to regular. And we bring it all home. And then we just match the peak to the cut. Maybe tighten that up a little bit. The zoom can take longer though. No, it can't. Maybe make both of these longer. Maybe punch that forward. The zoom can be shorter too. This is taking too long. Yeah, I need to shorten this cut. Maybe they do just match. It still needs to be shorter. No, I think it's the opposite. I think this needs to be, yeah, like that. I'm struggling with this last cut. The return to center is kind of annoying. I can live with that last one, it's fine. just gonna grab this flare and this sound effect and put it at the end as well. Cut that in half, cut that in half. Actually, we'll do the whole thing. And we'll do the whole thing as well. Is this sped up? Can we slow it down? Let's see what's in here. Maybe it's this section over here. Yeah, maybe it's this. And then we make this way brighter. Effects, screen, lighten. No, we'll do screen. We'll just fix the curves. Maybe throw a Gaussian blur on it. Which is down here. We'll blur it out. And then we can do these. We can blow it out this way. Yeah, there we go. I like that. Alright, let's do our proofing. With audio on. We'll do a full screen watch through. This feels cooked to me. This feels just a little hot. This clip right here. I'll turn the contrast down on this. There we go. Alright, now we'll do our full screen.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense. Let me explain. You need to be a good assistant to get hired, but you need experience to be a good assistant. The age-old employment question, where do you get your foot in the door? People always tend to aim upward when trying to find the immediate, paid opportunities, but end up being disappointed when no one wants to take a chance on them. The easiest thing to do is start where you are on the ground level. Assist for your peers, your colleagues, and even your friends. These might not be the most glamorous gigs or even the most profitable, but experience is the priority, right? You will learn from just doing, and the people that you are coming up with will eventually have opportunities to share. Otherwise, it's just a numbers game. Cast a wide net and hit up as
Ooh,
many...
that was cool. When I like cut between that and that, the chain was swinging, like I physically like popped off of it and there was like interaction with the environment.
people as you can. It really doesn't hurt to have more people know that you're willing to help.
That was fire. Honestly, that turned out way better than I expected. I'm still not sold on the color grading. It might look not great. Maybe we only need 15 warmth and -3 tint. I'm gonna dial back some of that green and that yellow I pumped in because it felt unnatural. And maybe we desaturate some of the yellows as well. Curves, please. Hue versus sat. Keep the reds. Take away some of the yellow tint. Keep the greens though, those are nice. And do we need that much blue? Probably not. Yeah, that feels more neutral. I'm into it. Now what I like to do when I like have a finalized timeline is duplicate it And I'll call this one captions. And now what I can do in the captions timeline is I can take all these captions. Oh, I didn't even proof any of these actually. I probably should do that. Text.
There are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense. Let me explain. You need to be a good assistant to get hired. Being experienced to be a good assistant. The age-old employment question. Where do you get your foot in the door? People always tend to aim upward when trying to find the immediate paid opportunities, but end up being disappointed when no one wants to take a chance on them. The easiest thing to do is start where you are on the ground level. Assist for your peers, your colleagues, and even your friends. These might not be the most glamorous gigs or even the most profitable, but experience is the priority, right? You will learn from just doing, and the people that you are coming up with will eventually have opportunities to share. Otherwise, it's just a numbers game. Cast a wide net and hit up as many people as you can. It really doesn't hurt to have more people know that you're willing to help.
Okay, those captions are accurate, thank God. And actually I should not have done this yet, so I'm gonna clear this timeline. I wanna add music, because this timeline is not final actually, I need music, so I'm gonna do, let's see which is popular. Good vibe. Nah, that sounds too good. Alright, genre classic. Oh, I like this. Oh, this one. Yeah, let's throw this in there. Cool. I need to go to the end of my timeline. Drop this one.
Yeah.
Drop this one. This we don't need the timeline. And then I can drag my audio, my music track, right here. Or, actually we can use Premiere's cool little remix button. I probably will take this down like 12.
Opportunities, but end up being
It's not competing
disappointed
with
when
me.
no one wants to take a chance on them. The easiest thing to do is start where you are on the ground level. Assist for your peers, your colleagues, and even your
Turn on duration, remix it, make it about 45 seconds. Just gonna analyze that, make a couple cuts for me, make the song 45 seconds long, about. Alright, let's listen to it.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've
I'm gonna need to take this up a little bit. Actually, I need to bring this in here, delete that, delete that. Actually, those don't even go there and there. That goes here and here.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense. Let me explain. You need to be a good assistant to get hired, but you need experience to be a good assistant. The age-old employment question, where do you get your foot in the door? People always tend to aim upward when trying to find the immediate, paid opportunities, but end up being disappointed when no one wants to take a chance on them. The easiest thing to do is start where you are on the ground level. Assist for your peers, your colleagues, and even your friends. These might not be the most glamorous gigs or even the most profitable, but experience is the priority, right? You will learn from just doing, and the people that you are coming up with will eventually have opportunities to share. Otherwise, it's just a numbers
I
game.
love that
Cast a
chain
wide
swinging.
net and hit up as many people as you can. It really doesn't hurt to have more people know that you're willing to help.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. All right. Cool. Cut this to our timeline length. Cut that to our timeline length. I kind of also want to do. This might be overly ambitious, but I also kind of want to do some ambient nature sounds in the background to like really sell that I'm in a park. Oh, that's music. I need sound effects. No, not amusement park. Ugh. Nature, please. Not people screaming in the background. Yeah, just throw this in there. It means I need to move my sound effects down one more channel. Throw some Yellowstone ambience in there, and then we can do essential sound. We can call that ambience. We just take the volume down on that, or up.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense. Let me explain.
Did this not import correctly? Art list. Download. I need this to please download to bin properly. Oh, there we go. Oh, why is it listed as a temporary file? I don't need that. I didn't mean to duplicate that either. Clear. This is the one. There we go. Alright, essential sound. This is ambience.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense. Let me explain. You need to be a good assistant to get hired, but you need experience to be a good assistant. In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense. Let me explain. You need to be a good assistant to get hired, but you need experience to be a good assistant. The age-old employment question: where do you get your foot in the door? People always tend to aim upward when trying to find the immediate, paid opportunities, but end up being disappointed when no one wants to take a chance on them. The easiest thing to do is start where you are on the ground level. Assist for your peers, your colleagues, and even your friends. These might not be the most glamorous gigs or even the most profitable, but experience is the priority, right? You will learn from just doing, and the people that you are coming up with will eventually have opportunities to share. Otherwise, it's just a numbers game. Cast a wide net and hit up as many people as you can. It really doesn't hurt to have more people know that you're willing to help.
Alright, cool. That video, dope. Now we do the thing that I was talking about where I duplicate the timeline. Title it captions. Then I can take all these captions, I can upgrade them to graphics, which they will now be found here. And then in my effects tab, I have a preset for this for text animation. Drop it on all those. Now it does this open thing.
In my years of being a photographer, there are a few things I've learned that still just don't really make sense. Let me explain. You need to be a good assistant to get hired, but you need experience to be a good assistant. The age-old employment question: where do you get your foot in the door? People always tend to aim upward when trying to find the immediate, paid opportunities, but end up being disappointed when no one wants to take a chance on them. The easiest thing to do is start where you are on the ground level. Assist for your peers, your colleagues, and even your friends. These might not be the most glamorous gigs or even the most profitable, but experience is the priority, right? You will learn from just doing, and the people that you are coming up with will eventually have opportunities to share. Otherwise, it's just a numbers game. Cast a wide net and hit up as many people as you can. It really doesn't hurt to have more people know that you're willing to help.
Alright, cool. That is, I think, the entire video. I can export this now. So I'm gonna run this to Reels. And then I'm gonna create an export folder. Yep. This is the one with the
Age-old employment question.
Yeah, this has the animations on it. I'm gonna do my Instagram oh, where is it? Oh, I lost my preset. No. Where's my preset? There you are. Alright, cool.
Find the immediate paid opportunities, but end up being disappointed when no one wants to take a chance on them. The easiest thing to do is start where you are on the ground level. Assist for your peers, your colleagues.
Alright, cool. So we're gonna get media encoder going. Hopefully this doesn't interfere with stream too much. Nobody in the live chat, I don't think. Yeah. If you're watching this stream, please like the video. I think that helps with stuff. I'm not sure. Alright, that is done. We could just jump into another one. So we turn off this timeline. We go to our footage. We drop in the next clip. Yeah, we got a formula now. I'm gonna title this Timeline Intro 1. This goes in our sequences bin. And then we just chop this up. I'll chop it up from here. I did not do this in the right order though. So this is the first thing I recorded, so I didn't really have a vision. I need to... You know what? I'm just gonna pop this in here. There we go. This will be a little bit easier. We're gonna turn off audio patching for that. Drop that in here. There we go. We'll expand this a little more. One, two, three. There we go. One, two, three. This is gonna be... We'll do this in the order of the steps. So these are on the same step, and it's left to right, so that's the same step as well. And then this is the back step, and these are kind of middle steps. And there will be more, I'm assuming, in front. Source. One, two, three. Drop it in there. Then I walk across, I'm up here. One, two, three, four. Scoot on across. Up there. All the way in the back. And then there's hopping down the stairs. That's its own segment. Me in front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's on the right. In and out. Actually seems like I got a very similar amount of positions. Put that in there.
Up here.
All the way at the top. Another motion shot right there. This is going to be kind of front row-ish. Oh, this is even more front row. Okay, I think I got everything. Alright, so I have about 15 minutes to put this together. I think now that we have everything templated, I can do that. Alright, let's pull up intro 3, grab that sound bite, pull that in here. We need to trim these to about 2 frames. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. One, two. Pull that over here. 1, 2. One, two. And this can actually go in front because it's a little more left than this, but it's on the same step. Bring all this over. One, two. 1, 2. 1, 2. And then, oops, don't want to do that. Pull this in. This is all motion. Alright, so we have to kind of randomize these out. So we're going to start here, 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 and then bam, 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 back to the middle, and the bottom again. And then I don't know if we use this fourth one to the back, to the kind of middle, front. Let's see how I was looking. Yeah, that's pretty good. We're jumping around a lot. And then these are the slow ones, right? We could do a motion one. I'm actually going to cut this and turn this into 2 different jumps. Oh, there's the ones in the back. I completely missed these. Ha! They were hiding. Alright, gotta fit these in here somewhere. One, two. 1, 2. Alright. Don't need all that extra. I like that step. Cool. Like, this step to this step is what I want to keep. Alright, cool. We can at least get the intro out. Alright, turn this off. There's a gap, and the gap is there, and I'm gonna put the little in the back one. No, we'll do this one. And then we'll do this one last, yeah. This ended right at that second peak. Right there. And it started at the very last peak from the first video. So this gets trimmed down to here. Yeah, these are whatever. Do any of these have a... Let me see if I can go find it in here. Just me walking across. Yeah. Just drop that in here. except it would go right there. Alright. Too many shots. I need something to displace that. Oh, this should not be here, actually. Need something on the right. Yeah, that one can go here. And then other than these last two, yeah. Maybe something, let's see, close, far. Close again. What's that on screen am I on? We'll try that one. No, I should do something more centered. That's sitting shot is fine. Alright, let's see it. This needs to be the closer version of that. Thank God. Let's see. Yeah, we'll go here. Just get me a little closer. Alright, and then, so that's intro 1. We'll save this document. And we close these and make a new sequence with this footage.
So we're going to say here. Still just a few things that I don't fully understand. Let me explain. Let me explain.
Alright, there's our new timeline. This will be timeline 1. Put that in our sequences bin. Don't remember what this one is about. Where's the one of me doing the actual explaining? Reels. Footage. Sort by size. Yeah, where's the size tab?
it here.
Yeah, that's the one I just did. I'm so confused. Was I not recording?
Gear matters. Gear matters. Fully understand. Is that the right photographer? Let me
I'm so confused. Am I missing this footage now? I thought I was missing one thing. I'm missing another thing. Very annoying. Put my card back in. Ugh.
what's the line?
Yeah, this clip. Is this not in here? Oh, I deleted it on accident. Oops. Yeah, we need to get that in there. There you go. Alright, this is the one we have to chop up. I'll just do the intro for this because I expect to end the stream soon. But sort by name.
Gear. Until it doesn't. Until it doesn't. There are still a few things that just don't really make sense. In all my years of being a photographer, there are still a few things that just don't really make sense.
Alright. Oh, this comes after this. 1 second stream. Let me give you guys some music. Oh, that's the ambient music. Hold on. Oh, I've been on Facecam the whole time. Damn it. Alright, stream, we are back, and we are inside of Adobe Premiere. I'm just gonna check how much we missed. Oh, that was just a straight face cam. Oh, did we not? Why don't we get all that? Oh yeah, we're good. We didn't miss anything. Okay, cool. Not an epic fail like I thought. Okay, we were doing this correctly. I swear I do this regularly. Alright, we're currently streaming the screen. Good. We're almost done with this intro. I just need to connect these. Move these out a little bit. And then we're going to pull up timeline 3. And intro 1. We're going to copy all of this into our timeline 1. We're going to bring this down 2 steps, 3 steps, because our ambient noise and our music is going to go in between that. And then we pull that in. How does the cut go on this? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 frames. So this should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, got that down. And then this comes in right after that valley. This comes in right after the valley. And then this comes in 1, 2 frames before the cut. So 1, 2. Yep, this is all lined up exactly the same.
In all my years,
There's a little stutter over here that I don't like where it's like a, yeah, that to that. So this one needs to go, and this needs to be something else. I guess we'll just do this one, cut to front. Oh, now there's a double. Oh, there should be 2 cuts. What happened here? Oh, that's the issue. There should be 2 cuts. And I can grab something from probably over here, just standing awkwardly on the side. Cool. There we go, that feels a lot more natural. And by natural, I mean random.
in all my years of being a photographer, there are still a few things that just don't really make sense. Let me explain.
Alright, and then you know how the rest of this goes.
Let me explain. It makes sense. Let me explain.
I'll give you guys a teaser on what the... Here, let me just throw this in here too. Oh, that looks a lot better,
Few
actually.
things that just don't
Maybe not as
really
warm, though.
make sense. Let me explain.
I'll tweak it, but
In all my years of being a photographer, there are still a few things that just don't really make sense. Let me explain.
And then I'll do the zoom in, and then I'll zoom out. Footage, let me explain. Is this me giving the premise?
matters.
Yeah.
Gear matters.
Gear matters.
Until it doesn't. It doesn't. Until it doesn't.
You know, I meant to say that backwards too. I was gonna say gear doesn't matter until it
Until-
does.
Until it doesn't. Gear matters. Until it doesn't. Until it doesn't.
So I'm gonna ADR that probably. I'm gonna record something and be like, they'll just do a voiceover recording.
Gear
Doesn't matter.
matters. Gear matters.
Gear doesn't
matters.
matter. Gear
Gear
doesn't matter.
Matters.
Gear doesn't matter.
matters. Gear matters
Until it does. Yeah. I'm gonna ADR that. I'm just gonna have to. That's okay. Well, I think that does it for us. You see the premise of the next episode. I'm gonna save this document. We're looking good. Yeah, that's it for today. I'll throw the music back on. We got one view, and it's me, honestly, which is fine. So let's see. That wraps everything up. This was pretty simple. I was gonna edit these today. I wanted to share that with you guys. So that wraps us up for the day. Thank you all for joining the stream. I hope this was informative or helpful in some way. If you have any questions about editing video, feel free to DM me on Instagram. My social channels are linked in the description, as well as a couple affiliate links if you want to support this stream. Feel free to purchase anything. We have software, we have equipment, whatever's going to help you in your photographic and creative journey. Give it a look. That's it for today. The next stream is going to be photo editing for sure. I have a shoot coming up that I'm going to be retouching on stream. It'll be a good time. It'll be really colorful studio portraiture, so that'll be fun to talk about. But with all that being said, as always, my name is Daniel Livingstone, and you be sure to do something creative today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.